Hello, friends of Swiftland and attendees of the Full Steam Ahead workshop on how to set up your Makerspace, how to get back to basics here. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use TinkerCAD and then how to basically do a two-dimensional representation of your future Makerspace or your existing Makerspace. So first things first, all these shapes over here on the right side, these are the building blocks of our project here. I'm going to start by bringing in a box, and most of the shapes we're going to use are going to end up being a box here. And I'm actually going to try to recreate my own Makerspace here. So this box here, first of all, I can zoom in and out on it by scrolling the mouse wheel. And that makes life a lot easier if you want to get closer, farther away, anything like that. Also, since this is a three-dimensional environment, we can rotate. So if I right-click and hold the button down, and then move my mouse around as I'm holding that right-click button down, I can rotate any which way I want. And notice it says work plane down here to keep us oriented in the right direction because, well, it looks the same from all sides unless we have that work plane there. So I can also take my shape here and I can manipulate it in a bunch of different ways. I can use these corner pieces to stretch it in 2 dimensions at once. I can use this white box on top to stretch it vertically. I can use these black boxes to just stretch it in 1 dimension. I can use this cone on top to lift it up or lower it down. And you can actually see on the bottom of the box, it shows you it's 6 millimeters, 5 millimeters, 4 millimeters. That's referring to how high off the platform it is. So 0 is touching the platform. I can rotate it. So there's actually 3 different dimensions I can rotate. I can rotate it this way. I'm going to undo. If you ever make a mistake, just undo. This way. And you notice that the other one's missing. Sometimes you have to rotate. See, there we go. So now I can see them all, so I can use this one to rotate it that way as well. Okay, so for my 2-dimensional representation of my Makerspace, I'm going to be looking at this from the top, a bird's eye view, because that's going to make it so that I don't actually need to worry about the placement of these things. It'll be more of a blueprint than anything. And actually, once I'm looking at it from the top, I don't really need to pay attention to much else. So I'm going to delete this one, start with a new one, and I'm going to build my Makerspace. So my Makerspace has a table. It has 2 workbenches in the middle. So that's going to represent 1 workbench. It's a wood-colored workbench. And then I'm going to do another one identical. I could drag in another box, but instead of doing that, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm going to click this button to duplicate. I can move it over. And I actually prefer to use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move it. It makes it a little easier. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to put a whiteboard up at the front here. This would be one side of my room. So the whiteboard's going to be really long and really thin. And let's change the color to white. Okay. I'm going to move it over a little bit. In this corner here, we have a bunch of 3D printers. And so I'm going to put a couple of boxes. We'll put one here. We'll put another one there. And the boxes in my room are black. Now these are the tables that the 3D printers actually sit on. And so we could just call that the 3D printer area right there, or we could even add 3D printers on top, maybe make these a little smaller. And then I can lift it up on top of there too. And we'll call those our 3D printers. Okay, so I'm going to do some work here and mute the volume just so you can watch and get a better idea of how to put this all together. Alright, so I've done a bit of work and placed the last few objects here. I just want to show you how to put in some text as well, just to label the parts of your Makerspace. So I'm using on the right here the text tool, and we can customize it, change it to whatever we want. These are my workbenches, and that's way too large, and so we'll just shrink the text way down. And I can either put it next to it like this, or I can put it on top of it using this black cone to lift it up. So either way is just fine. Okay, so I went ahead and added all the names to everything. I've got my storage cabinets over here, workbenches in the middle, student work table here, charging table. This is where we charge all of our iPads and our robots. We store our arts and craft supplies here. All the laptops are right there. 3D printers and 3D printing materials are in the corner there. Here's a whiteboard up front. I didn't label that, but well, that's what it is. And that's about it. I've got a nice functional blueprint for my makerspace. Have fun.